The doorbell rang, pulling you out of the haze of your thoughts. From the muffled conversation outside, you recognize the familiar voice of Gia. Your mother called your name, saying, "Wine, Gia is here to see you." A few moments later, Gia appeared in your room, her usual energetic self, but you were lost, staring at the warm glow of your bed lamp, your mind consumed by memories you were trying to suppress. When Gia called, snapping out of your trance, you blinked, surprised to see her standing there. "Gia, what are you doing here?" She pouted, crossing her arms. "Why? Am I not allowed to come to your house anymore?" You shook your head quickly. "No, it's not that. I just mean, what brings you here?" Gia plopped down on your bed, making herself comfortable. "I felt like meeting you. It's been a week since I saw you at college. You didn't show up, so I thought maybe you weren't feeling well. What's going on?" You sighed, trying to keep your voice neutral. "Oh, it's nothing. I wasn't feeling well, that's all." Gia frowned, but didn't push. Well, you missed a lot. You won't believe the drama going on at college," she said, launching into a series of gossip. You tried to focus on her words, but your mind wandered again back to memories that were too painful to relive. One, Gia's voice broke through your thoughts, accompanied by a gentle shake of your leg. You flinched slightly, startled back to reality. Sorry, what were you saying?" She looked at you closely, her usual playful expression replaced by concern. "What's going on with you? You have been so out of it lately." "It's nothing," you said quickly, avoiding her gaze. "Mine?" Gia said softly. "Why haven't you come to my house lately? You used to come over all the time. Did my brother say something to you?" Her words made your heart race. You froze, your eyes widening slightly before you quickly looked away. "I mean, I know you have always had a crush on him," she continued, teasing lightly. "But you have been avoiding him, haven't you?" "Stop, Gia," you asked, abruptly, cutting her off. "I'm sleepy. Let's talk tomorrow at college, okay?" Gia raised an eyebrow, clearly not convinced, but choosing not to argue. "All right," she said, standing up. "Come with me to my car. You should drop me off." You hesitated for a moment but nodded, following her outside. As you approached her car, your steps faltered. Leaning casually against the side of the car was Jungkook. A cigarette hung between his fingers, and he executed his usual aura of danger and control. His sharp features were illuminated by the soft glow of the street light, but his expression was unreadable. Your heart sank, the weight of your unspoken emotions hitting you all over again. You hadn't seen him since the breakup, and now, standing so close to him, the pain felt fresh and raw. He took a final drag of his cigarette before dropping it to the ground and crushing it beneath his shoe. Without sparing you a glance, he opened the car door and slid into the driver's seat. Gio glanced between the two of you, her brow furrowing. "Wine, are you okay?" You forced a small smile, though it didn't reach your eyes. "Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for coming over, Gia. I'll see you tomorrow." She nodded slowly, clearly sensing that something was off, but choosing not to press. "Okay, take care. All right." You turned and walked back inside without looking at Jungkook, your chest tightening with every step. Once inside, you closed the door and leaned against it, your eyes stinging with unshed tears. Jungkook's cool demeanor had been like a dagger to your heart. You replayed the memories of when things were different, when his intense gaze had been filled with warmth, when his rare smiles had been reserved for you, and when his touch had been made you feel safe despite the danger that surrounded him. But now it was all gone, replaced by a suffocating silence. As you sat on your bed, the stillness of the night only made your thoughts louder. You tried to push the feelings aside, but they clung to you like a shadow. The hurt, the longing, and the regret. For now, you could only hope that time would dull the ache in your heart, even though a part of you feared it never would. The morning sun spilled through your window, reflecting soft golden hues across your room. You sat staring at yourself in the mirror. With a little effort, you got ready for college, hoping today would be less emotionally taxing. As you stepped outside your house, your heart stopped for a second. Jungkook was there, leaning against his sleek black car. His expression unreadable. He looked calm, but the aura he carried was anything. Your chest tightened and you instinctively turned to walk the other way. Before you could get far, Gia's cheerful voice called out. Man, where are you going? Startled, you turned around trying to compose yourself. Gia, oh, I didn't see you there, you said, forcing a smile. Gia narrowed her eyes slightly, clearly not believing you. Sure you didn't. Anyway, come on. We'll go together in the car. You hesitated, glancing at Shankar briefly before looking away. It's okay, I'll take the bus, you replied, hoping she wouldn't insist. But Gia wasn't one to let things slide. Don't be silly, the bus takes forever. Come on, let's go. She grabbed your wrist and pulled you toward the car. Reluctantly, you followed her, your stomach churning with unease. As you reached the car, you opened the back door, intending to sit there. Wait, Gia said, yawning. I want to sleep during the ride. You take the front seat. Your heart sank. Oh, okay, you mumbled, moving toward the passenger seat. Jungkook didn't glance at you, his cold demeanor as sharp as ever. He tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Before you could figure out what was wrong, Jungkook stepped toward you. Your heart skipped a beat as he came closer. The proximity made your breath weak, but you quickly stepped back, trying to create a distance. He unlocked the door with his remote and pulled it open for you, his voice flat. Get in. You nodded mutely, climbing into the car. Just as he was about to close the door, he placed something on your lap. It was the dress you had left at his place a long time ago. Your throat tightened as you stared at it, the memories rushing back. Jungkook got into the driver's seat, started the car, and drove off without a word. As the car sped down the quiet streets, the memories of your time with Jungkook began flooding back. You couldn't stop yourself from recalling the countless moments you had shared, especially in this very car. There was a time when his presence used to make you feel safe. You remembered the night he drove you home after a late movie. The two of you had been laughing about something silly, his eyes crinkling with rare warmth. You really think you can sing better than me? He had teased, smirking as he turned the wheel. Absolutely, you had shot back, laughing. Through it, he had turned up the radio, and you would sing along, your voice shaky but filled with joy. Shankar had watched you with a soft smile, the kind that made your heart flutter. But those days felt like a lifetime ago, she felt. Jungkook's deep voice broke through your thoughts. You blinked, realizing you hadn't put it on. Oh right, sorry, you mumbled, fumbling with the seat belt. Your hands trembled slightly as you tried to fasten it, and you ended up getting it wrong. Jungkook sighed softly, leaning over. Let me, he said, his voice low but firm. Your heart pounded as his hand brushed yours, his fingers steady, as he adjusted the belt and clicked it into place. The brief contact sent shivers down your spine. Thank you whispered, your voice barely audible. I simply hummed in response, his eyes fixed on the road as he resumed driving. The silence in the car was suffocating. Jungkook's phone buzzed and he answered, his tone sharp and commanding. You could tell it was about his Mafia business, something about an enemy creating trouble. As he spoke, your mind drifted back to the night of your breakup. Why? Don't do this, Jungkook had said, his voice laced with frustration. I told you, I will protect you. That's not the point, Jungkook. You had cried, your chest heaving with emotion. You are putting yourself in danger every single day. How can I stand by and watch that? This is who I am, he said, his jaw clenched. I can't leave this. You knew that from the start. Tears had streamed down your face as you shook your head. I can't do this anymore, Jungkook. I can't keep worrying if the next phone call will be someone telling me you are gone. He had looked at you with an intensity that had left you breathless, but he didn't argue further. Instead, he turned and walked away, leaving you to pick up the pieces of your shattered heart. Jungkook ended his call, glancing at you briefly before focusing on the road again. His expression remained cool, but there was a flicker of something in his eyes, something you couldn't decipher. When you reached the college, he stopped the car in front of your main gate and the three of you stepped out. Good morning, Wine, a cheerful voice called out. You turned to see Sam, one of your classmates, walking toward you. He hugged you lightly, his usual friendly grin in place. Morning, Sam, you replied quietly, stepping back quickly. Jungkook's gaze darkened as he watched the exchange. He knew Sam had a crush on you, and the sight of him hugging you seemed to ignite a spark of jealousy. Before anyone could react, Jungkook walked up to Sam and pulled him into a tight hug. Good morning, he said, his voice low and menacing. Sam's eyes widened, and you could tell he was struggling to breathe. Ah, good morning, Jungkook. He managed to squeak out. You sighed, knowing exactly what Jungkook was doing. Sorry, Sam, you muttered for Jungkook's action. Jungkook finally let go of Sam, patting his back with a smile. Have a good day. Jia, who had been watching everything, frowned. What's going on with you two? She asked, but you didn't respond. Sam coughed, rubbing his ribs as he watched Jungkook get back into his car and drive off. Okay, what was that about? He muttered more to himself than anyone else. Jia looked between you and Sam, a knowing look crossing her face. Something is definitely up, she whispered to herself. But you didn't stick around to explain. You walked into the building. Your heart is heavy with emotions you couldn't begin to untangle. As you sat in class, your mind kept drifting back to Jungkook, his coolness, his jealousy, and the unresolved feelings between you. It was all too much. You could feel his presence lingering like a shadow, and no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't shake the hold he still had in your heart. You knew the story between you wasn't over, not yet. The day dragged on with classes, but Gia's excitement was infectious. As the professor droned down, she leaned closer to you and whispered, Tomorrow is my birthday, Wine. I want you to come over early before everyone else. You hesitated, visiting your finger. I don't think I can make it, Gia. I have got stuff. Her jaw dropped and she grabbed your arm dramatically. Stuff? What stuff? Are you seriously ditching me on my birthday? It's not like that, you stammered, trying to find an excuse. Then what is it? Gia said, narrowing her eyes. I swear, if you don't show up, I will break our friendship right here, right now. You sighed, knowing you couldn't let that happen. Fine, I'll come, you said reluctantly. Gia beamed, clearly satisfied. When the professor left, Gia stood up and clapped her hands to get everyone's attention. Okay, everyone, tomorrow is my birthday and I'm throwing a party at my place. You're all invited. The classroom erupted into cheers, and Gia basked in the attention. You smiled faintly, but a knot of unease tightened in your stomach. You knew Jungkook would be there, and the thought of facing him again made you nervous. Later that night, you rummaged through your closet looking for something to wear for Gia's party. Dresses were strewn across your bed as you flipped through them, unsure of what to pick. Then your eyes landed on the dress, a deep, burgundy one with delicate embroidery. The one Jungkook had once said was his favorite on you. You hesitated, your fingers brushing against the fabric as a wave of memories washed over you. You remembered the night you wore it to a dinner with him. Wow, Jungkook had said, his voice softer than usual as his eyes racked over you. You look beautiful, wine. No, more than beautiful. You did laugh, feeling your cheeks warm. You're exaggerating. I'm not, he said, replied firmly, his gaze locking with yours. I mean it. The memory made your chest shake. You held the dress close, torn between wanting to wear it and avoiding a reminder of what you would have lost. Across the city, Jungkook sat in his dimly lit room, his sharp features softened by the glow of a lamp. He stared at a suit hanging by his closet. It wasn't just any suit, it was the one you had picked for him. Try this one. You had said back then, holding up with a bright smile. Jungkook had raised an eyebrow. You think I would look good in that? Of course, you replied confidently. Trust me. When he had stepped out of the fitting room wearing it, your reaction had been instant. Oh my god, Jungkook. You had said, your eyes lighting up. You look amazing. Seriously, this suit was made for you. He had smirked, his usual confidence showing, but inside your excitement had warmed him in a way nothing else could. If you say so, he had said, brushing it off casually, though he had secretly loved how happy it made you. Now, as he looked at the suit, those moments replayed in his mind, making the silence of his room feel even heavier. That night, as you both sat in your separate rooms, the memories wouldn't leave you. You lay on your bed, staring at the burgundy dress draped over your chair. Why do you keep thinking about him? You whisper to yourself. The ache in your chest is growing stronger. Jungkook leaned back in his chair, his hand running through his hair as he stared at the suit. Why can't I stop thinking about her? He muttered under his breath, his usual calm unraveling. For both of you, the memories were bittersweet, filled with warmth but laced with pain. Despite the breakup, despite the hurt, your hearts still held on to each other in ways neither of you could ignore. As the night deepened, you both drifted into restless sleep, your dreams intertwined with moments of laughter, tenderness, and the love you would once shared. And while neither of you said it loud, one thought lingered in the air: I miss you. The next day, you got ready carefully, choosing the burgundy dress Jungkook liked so much. You tried to push away the thoughts of him as you looked at yourself in the mirror, but it wasn't easy. Taking a deep breath, you grabbed your bag and headed to Jia's house. Jungkook's home loomed large and intimidating as always. Stepping inside, you were greeted by the soft hum of birthday preparations. His mother appeared almost immediately, her sharp gaze fixed on you. Good morning, Mrs. Chan. You said quietly, your eyes dropping to the floor under her serious expression. She responded curtly as if she had more to say but chose not to. Before the tension could grow, Gia bounded into the parlor, her face lighting up. When you came early, I know you would make it, she exclaimed, pulling you into a tight hug. Happy birthday, Gia, you said, smiling as you handed her a small gift. She grinned. Thanks, I'm so glad you're here. I need your help with something. You to my room and help me pick out some jewelry for my dress, okay? I'll be right back. I left something in the garage. Sure, you said, following her instructions as she disappeared down the hallway. You entered the room you thought was Gia's, only to pause in confusion. Your eyes landed on a black suit neatly laid out on the bed. It didn't take long to recognize it. It was the suit you had chosen for Jungkook long ago. You step closer, your fingers grazing the fine fabric. A small, wistful smile tugged at your lips as the memories of that day played in your mind. You could still hear your own voice from back then. You look amazing in this Jungkook. As you held the suit lost in your thoughts, a familiar voice cut through the air. What are you doing in my room? You flinched, startled, the suit slipped from your hands, and you stumbled backward, your heart racing. Before you could fall, Jungkook's strong hand gripped your waist, steadying you. Your eyes widened as you realized how close he was. He was standing in front of you, his chest bare, a towel slung low around his hips. Water droplets glistened on his toned skin, and his damp hair fell messily over his forehead. Your breath hitched as your eyes met his. His dark, piercing gaze locked onto yours, then flicked down briefly to take in your dress before returning to your face. His expression softened ever so slightly. Be careful, he said, his voice low and deep. I'm sorry, you stammered, your face flushing. I thought this was Jia's room. He raised an eyebrow, still holding your waist for a moment longer before helping you stand upright. We switched rooms recently, he explained, stepping back slightly but not taking his eyes off you. Your heart was pounding so loudly you were sure he could hear it. I didn't know, you said, your voice barely above a whisper. Jungkook glanced at the suit on the bed, then back at you. Were you looking at this? You nodded hesitantly. I remembered how it looked on you. His gaze softened even more, but he quickly masked it. It's a good suit, he said simply, as though trying to downplay the moment. Awkwardly, you stepped toward the door, desperate to escape the tension. I should go, you muttered, your voice shaky. Jungkook didn't stop you, but his eyes followed you as you walked away, your steps slow and hesitant. As you exited the room and leaned against the wall outside, you placed a hand over your racing heart. Your skin still tingled where he had touched you, and your mind replayed the way his eyes had lingered on you. Inside the room, Jungkook ran a hand through his damp hair, exhaling deeply. He glanced at the door you had just walked through, his mind clouded with thoughts of you. She still affects me, he murmured to himself, his jaw tightening. Both of you felt the weight of the unresolved emotions between you, and neither you could deny the pull that still existed. It was undeniable, even if it unspoken. The evening air buzzed with chatter as Gia's birthday party came alive. The house was filled with laughter, music, and the hum of excited conversations. You stood near a corner with your friends, trying to enjoy the festivities despite the storm of emotions swelling inside you. Then Jungkook came down the staircase, dressed in the black suit you had chosen for him long ago. He looked breathtaking, that tailored fit accentuated his broad shoulders and lean figure. You couldn't help but stare, your gaze locked on him. Memories of the past flashed before your eyes, your heart aching with longing. Just as you realized how openly you were looking at him, his eyes met yours. Startled, you quickly looked away, pretending to laugh at something one of your friends said. After the cake was cut and everyone sang for Gia, the group moved to the living room to play a game. Someone suggested truth or dare, and everyone enthusiastically agreed. You hesitated, knowing this could get messy, but Gia pulled you into the group, her excitement contagious. Come on, wine. Don't be boring. The bottle spun and the game began. The first turn landed on Gia's friend Mia. She chose the truth, and someone asked, who was your first crush? Mia blushed. Mr. Park, from math class in high school, she admitted, making everyone burst into laughter. Next, it was Gia's turn. She chose dare, and someone dared her to prank call her professor. Gia didn't hesitate, making a hilarious call that had everyone in stitches. The game continued with playful dares and awkward truths until the bottle pointed at you. You swallowed nervously, the room growing quiet as everyone turned to you. Dare, you said, hoping to avoid any questions about Jungkook. Gia grinned mischievously. Alright, Wine, you have to kiss Sam. The room erupted into gasps and giggles. Sam, sitting across from you, looked both surprised and excited. Jungkook, who was across your couch, sipping his whiskey with his friends, became jealous as he clenched his jaw, his knuckles turning white as he held the glass tightly in anger. I won't do that, you said firmly, shaking your head. Gia pouted. Okay, fine, not that one. Then I dare you to. She paused, her eyes twinkling with mischief as she looked at Jungkook. I dare you to kiss my brother. Your eyes widened, and you immediately looked at Jungkook, who was sitting on the couch opposite you. He was sipping his drink, his expression unreadable. Everyone else froze, exchanging nervous glances. Jungkook wasn't just Jia's brother, he was Jungkook, the powerful, intimidating figure nobody dared to cross. Tears pricked your eyes as you stood abruptly, unable to handle the tension. I can't, you whispered, your voice trembling. You turned to leave, but before you could take another step, a strong hand grabbed your wrist. Jungkook pulled you back, and before you could react, his lips crashed against yours. The world seemed to stop as his arms wrapped around you, pulling you close. Gas filled the room, but you barely resisted them. His kiss was intense, full of emotions, anger, pain, love, all pouring out in that one moment. Your heart pounded in your chest as tears slipped down your cheeks. After what felt like an eternity, he broke the kiss, his hand gently cupping your face. His dark eyes searched yours, filled with a mix of determination and vulnerability. Why did you do that, Wine? He asked, his voice low but firm. Do what? You whispered, confused. Break up with me, he said, his voice cracking slightly. I know you didn't do it willingly, someone forced you. Her eyes widened, and he turned to his mother, who was standing near the doorway. Her face pale, and she quickly lowered her head, unable to meet his gaze. Jungkook's jaw clenched as he pieced it all together. It was you, wasn't it? He said to his mother. His tone was sharp but controlled. Tears welled up in your eyes. I'm sorry, you said, your voice breaking. She told me to leave you, or she would make things difficult for my family. I didn't want to, Jungkook. I swear I didn't. You finally told him the reason for your breakup. As he understood, Jungkook found the real reason, and you cannot hide it anymore from him. His eyes softened as he looked at you, his hand brushing a tear off your cheek. You should never have been put in that position. I should have protected you. I'm the one who should be sorry, Ryan. He took a deep breath, his voice steady but filled with emotion. I know I have made mistakes. I know my life is dangerous and complicated, but I love you, Ryan. I have never stopped loving you, and I swear I'll do whatever it takes to keep you safe and happy. Your heart ached as you stared at him, the sincerity in his eyes overwhelming. Jungkook, please, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Give me another chance. Be with me again. For a moment, the room was silent, everyone holding their breath. Tears streamed down your face as you nodded. I love you too, Jungkook, you said, your voice trembling but clear. The room erupted into cheers and applause as Jungkook pulled you into his arms again, holding you tightly. Jia clapped the loudest, her face glowing with happiness. Finally, she exclaimed. Even Sam smiled, a bit awkwardly. Guess I'll be back off now, he joked, earning a laugh from the crowd. I'll never let anyone come between us again, even my mom. Jungkook whispered to you, his voice full of determination. You smiled, leaning into him. I know. Thank you for watching.